So the Euro 2020 group stage is over. Now no second chances for these teams. It is straight to the round of 16, single leg games, go to extra time penalties if a draw. The stakes are high. Let's start predicting. What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. I want to show you the prediction league, but I've not actually finished totaling up the scores yet. But one thing I will show you is the current standings of the fantasy league team, and it's Creeper Boy who actually is at the top, leading into the last 16. I've done okay. I am 6th place, although I did forget to change my team 2 weeks in a row, and I'll definitely change my team after I do this video today. But if you guys like what you see, please make sure you do give this video a like. It just tremendously help the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't done it. It does really help. We really want to try and get to 600 subscribers as soon as we can. That'd be terrifically appreciative, and please share this channel to as many people as you can. That really helps. But without any further ado, let's start predicting the round of 16 games. So it starts off with Wales going up against Denmark. Now, I'm really intrigued to see the outcome of this tie because I rate both of these sides so much. They've both finished second place in their respective groups. Wales secured second place pretty much after their brilliant 2-0 victory over Turkey in their second game. Denmark were nowhere near second until the final day. They were last place in their table, but they overcame a 4-1 victory over Russia to get second place, unbelievably. And I think everyone will be supporting Denmark with the circumstances that took place in this tournament. They definitely would want to do Christian Eriksen proud. A strength for Wales for me is that they never give up. They really fight to the end, and they never make any game easy. But a weakness, I think, has been clinical going in front of goal. Even against Turkey when they won, they missed countless chances. For Denmark, a strength for them, I think, is their midfield. I think that's the strongest part of their team. They really do work the midfield well. Going forward, I think is going to be their weakness again. Once again, they do struggle at times to score the ball into the net. Although they did manage to work on that very well against Russia. And maybe when they go against Wales, they can continue that same form. For a prediction in this game, it's difficult because I think both these sides are so close in quality. There's not much to separate them. But if I were to back the better team with experience, I might say Denmark. I think it'll be time. I'm going to say a 2-1 away victory to Denmark. FIFA 21 is saying 2-0 to Denmark, so not too far off for my prediction. Next up is Italy going up against Austria, the winners of Group A going up against the runners-up of Group C. Now, Italy are one of the only two teams to not concede a goal so far in this tournament, but the big difference comparing them to England is that they've scored goals. They have scored 6 goals in their 3 games, averaging 2 goals a game. Austria, they actually managed to clutch second, taking that second place away from Ukraine. But luckily for Ukraine's part, they actually still managed to get into the tournament. And Ukraine may think it's a blessing in disguise because I think they've got a better game on paper than Austria do against Italy. So that's going to be really tough for Austria. And one strength for Italy for me is their defence. They've been fantastic at the back. I think their weakness can be going forward. Now, I know they've scored 6 goals in 3 games. But at the same time, they have missed so many chances too. Austria, I think their strength for me actually is their defense as well. They are very organised. Now, their weakness for me is going forward, but most notably in the midfield. I think they do lose the midfield battle very easily. And that's one thing they definitely need to try and capitalise before they play against Italy, who play a lot of the ball and play a lot of fluid football. But Mancini has gotten to be very versatile because they could be direct. I've seen a couple of direct styles of play against Wales, but also to be fluid as well. So they could definitely play all styles of football. For that reason alone, I think Italy, just with the better squad, the better sort of quality, I think they'll edge this. I'm going to say 2-0 Italy. FIFA is also going to agree with me. Next up, we've got the Netherlands going up against the Czech Republic. Netherlands managing to win their group with 9 points out of 9 as well. One for very few teams to get maximum points in their group. However, contrasting to Italy, they do, I feel, have a weakness in defence. Although they have kept a clean sheet in their last 2 games, but to be fair, it's against teams like Austria and North Macedonia, which I would expect Netherlands to keep a clean sheet from. Against Ukraine in their opening game, there were weaknesses in defence, especially from set pieces, and I think that is one thing Czech Republic can use to their advantage against Netherlands particularly. Now, Czech Republic, for me, of course, have Patrick Schick, one of the top goal scorers in the Euros so far, although he had a very quiet game against England, disappointingly. And Czech Republic, for me, are really organised. I actually think it's going to be difficult for Netherlands to break them down. But I think if Netherlands use their biggest asset, which for me is their attack, I think they could definitely score a couple past the Czech Republic side. For what I've seen against Croatia and England as well, they can be susceptible at times to direct looping balls. So I think Netherlands could have a bit of fun here. I'm going to say 3-1 to Netherlands. FIFA 21 is saying 2-0 again for the third consecutive game. Next up is Belgium versus Portugal. Now, if this is the first game for me, I think can go either way. I'm really struggling to call this one because I've seen Belgium very, very closely. They were very frustrated in their last game against Finland. They had to be very, very patient, had to rely on a mistake from the goalkeeper, and eventually they managed to get a second goal and wrap it up. Romelu Lukaku having a fantastic tournament at the moment. They play a Portugal side where they had a fantastic battle with France, but unfortunately it wasn't quite enough. It ended 2-2 in the end, and following this they finished third place and will have to face a grueling test to play against Belgium. Now, with this game, I think both teams going forward are great. I do think both teams going forward are great as well. Defending wise, I think both can be a bit susceptible. I mean, Belgium, for me, have not really played anyone in that big of potential yet. You know, they were susceptible to Denmark, but against Finland and Russia, where they had very few troubles there, you know, Portugal is in another class of them. So I think defending wise, they will be tested. So I think really, really similar both of these sides have in terms of their weak strengths and weaknesses. So it's really tight to call. I'm going to say 2-1 Belgium in 90 minutes. I don't actually think it's going to go to extra time. I think it'll end 2-1 to Belgium. FIFA 21 is predicting 0-0 after extra time and Belgium to win on penalties. That's unbelievable if that happens in real life. Next up, we've got Croatia and Spain. Both teams, for me, had a really slow start to the tournament, but both in their final games really turned their form on. Croatia beating Scotland by 3-1. They were really, really good, actually. Spain, of course, had drawn their first two games in danger of going out, but against Slovakia, they completely destroyed them, beating them by 5-0. And that sort of momentum could be very key when they play Croatia. Now, it's difficult for me because I think this could be a game that Spain could potentially flop in. Croatia, I think, do have experience of getting past this stage of the competition. And this is a sort of game where I think you could see a shock with the squads that both of them have. It's not really that much that separates them. You know what? FIFA 21 is predicting 2-1 to Spain. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say 2-1 Croatia. I think Croatia might just edge this. Next up, we've got France versus Switzerland. France managing to win their group just about in the group of death with 5 points out of a possible 9, winning 1 and drawing 2. They managed to draw against Portugal, Hungary, but they beat Germany, which is why they managed to top the group. They play a Switzerland side who finished third place in Group A, but being the better ranked third place team. Now, last time they played a side that's a bit similar quality for me against Italy, they lost 2-0, and that for me is going to be very, very worrying for me in terms of predicting Switzerland against a France team, where I felt that they were actually underperforming a bit in this tournament, but against Portugal, to be fair, I felt they were quite unlucky not to hold on. I think they were slightly the better team against Portugal, actually. So I felt they were quite unlucky not to get 3 points in that. But against Switzerland, I think France will be quite comfortable. I'm going to say 2-0 to France. FIFA 21 is saying 1-0. And now the biggest game of Euro 2020, in my opinion, it's England versus Germany. This is giving me Euro 96 vibes, World Cup 2010 vibes. I tell you what, this game could really make or break this England squad. Now, I want revenge from World Cup 2010. The first game I've ever saw England in a tournament get crashed out of a tournament in. And I'm still having nightmares to this day. We need to get one over the Germans here. Now, of course, England won their group. You would dare say pretty unconvincingly, only scoring 2 goals in the 3 group stage games. Germany, on the other hand, managing to score 6 goals in the 3 games that they had. So Germany going forward looking much stronger than England are at the moment, but at the back, don't think they are as strong as England are. So definitely very, very different in terms of our strengths and weaknesses at the moment. I really could see England take an early lead or maybe get an early goal, but then Germany will just pepper us with so many chances and eventually they'll equalise. I'm going to say 1-1 and it'll go to penalties, and I'm going to say, I'm going to say Germany win 5-4 on penalties. And it'll be someone like, I'm going to say John Stones to miss. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, though. I really hope I'm wrong. But FIFA 21 is predicting 2-1 England, which I really hope happens more than my actual prediction. And lastly, we've got Sweden and Ukraine. Both of these teams I don't think really got heavily back to make it into the round of 16, but they're both playing against each other, and one of them will be in the quarterfinals, which I think will be an unbelievable achievement for both of them. Sweden could make it to 2 consecutive quarterfinals in major tournaments, which would be a great achievement for Sweden. They managed to get through, beating Poland by 3-2, keeping first place. And you've got to give Sweden some credit here because, you know, Sweden got a 2-goal lead, brilliant goals by Forsberg, but then Lewandowski managed to claw things back for Poland. But unbelievably, Sweden just held their nerve and they got the final goal within the final minute of the game. And you've got to give them a load of credit for that. As for Ukraine, they did look good against the Netherlands. They were unlucky not to get more than a point for me. In the other 2 games, I mean, against North Macedonia, they're okay. And then Austria, they just didn't create enough against Austria. It was too little too late when they fell behind. And for this game, I just think the better experienced team is going to go through. And that for me is Sweden. I think they've got the better options going forward. Ukraine could shock people, but I'm going to say Sweden. I'm going to say 2-1 to Sweden. FIFA 21 is going to disagree with me completely and say 3-1 to Ukraine, which of course on FIFA has replaced them with Norway. That will wrap it up for my predictions. If you want to get involved in the prediction league, make sure you comment your predictions in the comments down below. In the quarterfinal predictions, I will update the prediction league and will show the current standings. But that will wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked it, please make sure you do give this video a like. It does tremendously help the channel. Please subscribe if you're new. It does really help. And please share this channel to as many people as you can. That really helps. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, take care everyone. And let's hope we get a good bunch of games coming up. Make sure to see my watch alongs too. Take care everyone.